It's one thing to get mad and flip off annoying fans, but endorsing the guy who owes over $1 billion for claiming Sandy Hook was staged? Yeah, Kyrie Irving has definitely worked to earn his shady status over the years. Arguably, Kyrie Irving's most notorious moment came in February 2017 while appearing on the Road Trippin' with RJ and Channing podcast. Responding to a snarky comment about a conspiracy theorist who believes the Earth is flat, he made a startling declaration.
Yeah, no, the Earth is flat.
Oh, here we go.
The Earth is flat.
NBA Commissioner Adam Silver, who like Irving attended Duke University, offered a wry response. He joked, "Kyrie and I went to the same college. He may have taken some different courses." Irving, however, doubled down when he appeared on the Holden Court podcast later that year. He said, "When I started actually doing research on my own and figuring out that there is no real picture of Earth, not one real picture of Earth, and we haven't been back to the moon since 1961 or 1969, it becomes like conspiracy too." Speaking with the New York Times in 2018, Irving was still not convinced that Earth was shaped like a globe. He asked, "Can you openly admit that you know the Earth is constitutionally round? Like you know that for sure? Like, I don't know." Eventually, Irving backtracked, insisting he'd been deep diving into some conspiracy theory rabbit holes at the time. At Forbes Under 30 Summit, he said, "For all the science teachers, everybody coming up to me like, you know I have to reteach my whole curriculum. I'm sorry. I apologize. Despite the fact that he changed his tune, it's likely that no one will ever forget how long he kept this going. What other conspiracy theories has Irving latched onto over the years? You might say all of the hits. During the same podcast in which he shared his flat Earth beliefs, Irving offered his own take on why President John F. Kennedy was assassinated.
He wants to end the bank cartel in the world. And all of a sudden, 21 days, he's assassinated.
Yahoo Sports, who reported on this podcast moment, noted that Irving had apparently read Jim Marrs' book, Crossfire, The Plot That Killed Kennedy, which first introduced that particular conspiracy theory. Meanwhile, in that same conversation, Irving also propagated an oft-debunked conspiracy theory that the botched assassination attempt on reggae superstar Bob Marley, who subsequently died of cancer at age 36, was actually a hit job orchestrated by the CIA. He pointed out that Marley, quote, tried to bring people together, and that his overarching message was fundamentally built on love and truth.
We kill people for doing the right thing like that?
Irving also believes that dinosaurs didn't look the way most people believe they did, explaining the rationale for his belief in an on-camera interview.
They find one bone to make up 98% of it digitally, and then they give it to the pictures of what they think they should look like. So.
Think that's where Irving's foray into conspiracy theories ends? Strap in for this one. Turns out, Irving's fascination with conspiracies led him to infamous InfoWars founder Alex Jones. While Jones has propagated a seemingly endless stream of dubious claims, including that the government controls the weather and that chemicals added to the water have caused frogs to become gay, he's best known for his lies about the Sandy Hook school shooting, a horrific tragedy that left 26 dead, including 20 young children. Jones, however, told his listeners that the tragedy was a hoax, a black ops false flag operation intended to restrict gun ownership. Those claims led to a groundbreaking lawsuit that forced Jones into bankruptcy after a jury awarded the victims' families $1.5 billion. In September 2022, Irving shared one of Jones' videos on Instagram stories, detailing a nefarious plot to abolish cash and introduce socialized healthcare. Jones said in the video, "There is tyrannical organization calling itself the New World Order, pushing for worldwide government, and by releasing diseases and viruses and plagues upon us, we basically get shoved into their system where human beings are absolutely worthless." Irving indicated that he was buying Jones' conspiracy theory hook, line, and sinker when he added a caption to the video that read, "Never forget," followed by, "Alex Jones tried to warn us." By saying this, Irving seemingly implied that Jones' prediction about viruses being intentionally unleashed upon humanity had come to pass with the COVID-19 pandemic. Which is a perfect segue into yet another one of Irving's most controversial moments. In September 2021, the NBA introduced new safety protocols to address COVID-19, including severe restrictions on players who refused to be vaccinated for the virus. Irving, then playing for the Brooklyn Nets, was among the NBA players who declined the vaccine. However, New York City had instituted its own restrictions, requiring that all athletes playing or even practicing in the city be vaccinated. As a result, when the team held a media day, Irving could only participate via Zoom and not in person. Irving wound up sitting out all of the Nets' home games that season because of his refusal to get vaccinated, and he was totally fine with it.
I've already been away enough time to think about this, to process it, to be able to make this decision, stand strong.
According to Irving, his decision to refuse the vaccine wasn't necessarily due to anti-vax beliefs, but as a protest against the mandates insisting he be vaccinated in order to play. After explaining that it's for, quote, all the unvaccinated people being fired from work, he added,
"It's not just about me. That's been my message this whole time.
He opened up even more when he appeared on Kevin Durant's The ETC's podcast. He said, "It was like an ultimatum given to me. It's either you work and get vaccinated, just like this ultimatum was given to other people. I knew I was doing the right thing for me, and I had to stay rooted in that decision." Okay, one more conspiracy thing, then we're done. In 2022, Kyrie Irving posted on X promoting a film titled Hebrews to Negroes. The film, based upon a book of the same name, claims that Black Americans are the true descendants of the Israelites depicted in the Bible, and that European Jews are imposters. Other social media users were quick to point out that the film is bursting with anti-Semitic tropes and has been flagged by the Anti-Defamation League for that reason. Irving was hit with backlash. As the Associated Press reported, the NBA offered him an opportunity to, quote, unequivocally say he has no anti-Semitic beliefs. When he declined to take it, he was suspended. Irving later issued a joint statement with the Brooklyn Nets and the ADL and made a $500,000 donation to charities battling intolerance. He said, "I am aware of the negative impact of my post toward the Jewish community, and I take responsibility." The Nets subsequently lifted the suspension after he sat out 8 games. The suspension wasn't the only fallout. His sponsorship deal with Nike was terminated, with plans for Irving's new line of shoes quashed. A Nike rep told ESPN, "Kyrie is no longer a Nike athlete." Irving's agent, Shatelia Riley Irving, who is also his stepmother, insisted that it had been a joint decision to cut ties. She told CNBC, "We have mutually decided to part ways and wish Nike the best in their future endeavors." In November 2022, the Brooklyn Nets fired coach Steve Nash, a former NBA star who'd never coached professionally before. Nets GM Sean Marks said of axing Nash during a news conference, "We both felt that this was time." While Marks insisted he made the decision without any input from players, a report emerged claiming that Nets teammates Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving had orchestrated Nash's firing by deliberately playing as terribly as they could. That was the opinion of New York Daily News NBA reporter Christian Winfield, who believed the star players had underperformed to seal Nash's fate. He said, "And you had guys like Kevin Durant and Kyrie who were actively trying to get him fired by how they were playing." Neither Durant nor Irving ever confirmed Winfield's claim. However, ESPN sports commentator Stephen A. Smith told viewers that Irving was no fan of Nash and was so dismissive of his coaching abilities that he'd taken matters into his own hands. Smith claimed he'd been told that Irving would conduct his own practices after finishing the regular team practice organized by Nash.
You have any idea how disrespectful that is to Steve Nash, rather? He conducted his own practices.
During Kyrie Irving's second season with the Boston Celtics, CBS News reported that he told cheering fans in TD Garden he was planning on sticking around. He said, "If you guys will have me back, I plan on re-signing here." Instead, he signed with the Brooklyn Nets, raising the ire of Boston's notoriously passionate fans. Since then, there's been open warfare between Irving and Celtics fans, with Irving dissing his former team whenever he plays in Boston. For example, he was spotted during one game deliberately stomping on the Celtics' leprechaun logo. In another incident, a rowdy fan hurled a water bottle at Irving, which Irving chalked up to racism. He later told reporters, "It's been that way in history in terms of entertainment, performers, and sports for a long period of time. Just underlying racism and just treating people like they're in a human zoo." Things got even uglier during a 2022 Nets-Celtics matchup when Boston fans enthusiastically chanted, "F you, Kyrie." Irving responded by placing his hands behind his head, keeping his back to the crowd while extending both of his middle fingers. At another point in the game, he flipped the bird once more. Irving defended his gesture during a post-game press conference.
It's nothing new when I come into this building, what it's going to be like, but it's the same energy they have for me, and I'm going to have the same energy for them.